Welcome to the Mind Your Business Show. We're so delighted to have you here because we're going to profile Criolla's restaurant here at 4098 Sandfort Road in Phenix City, Alabama. The guy who owns this place has mastered the craft. He's had successful restaurants, so he's going to share with you the formula for success in the restaurant business. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Tony Calloway, the Private Money Godfather, and welcome to the Mind Your Business Show. And today we're here at Criolla's restaurant with David Rushing, the head chef. And David, I just got a chance to sample, and folks, I'm telling you, his food is amazing. You got to come here to Criolla's restaurant. But I want everybody to get a chance to know you a little bit today, David, and you've had a lot of success. And the focus of our interview today and our topic is the success formula for restaurants. You know, a lot of people want to go into the restaurant business. It's a tough business, but this guy right here, he's mastered it from Florida to here. And so, David, I want you to just share some of your message with our viewers. And so as we get started, David, let's do the human interest story. You know, if you would share a little bit about yourself and how you even got into the food service restaurant business, your background there.
Oh, I grew up in Panama City. You want to make any money in Panama City, you better be able to cut.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been doing it since I was 15. Slowly moved my way up. Went to school. I did all the stuff I was supposed to, but you learn more in the kitchen than you do at school.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Now you learn your numbers. You learn that other stuff, but the cooking comes with being in the kitchen.
Right, right. And so from the standpoint of growing up in the industry, were you mentored particularly, or you just paid close attention to what was going on? You know, how did you develop your style?
I was mentored. I mean,
okay.
I worked for Emerald. I worked for Paul Stellato. I worked for Johnny Earls. I worked for some good chefs. Yeah, and you got to work for some good ones to be a good one.
Okay, all right. Well, I certainly see the benefit of all your experience and what they poured into you. You're definitely pouring into things here at Criolla. Now, you and I met at the YMCA, and you really caught my attention with what you were sharing about, you know, how you wound up here in Phenix City, because you were talking about your restaurants there and what was going on. So if you would just, you know, rewind the tape back to your Panama City days and, you know, talk about the theme of the restaurants you had there and what you did that made them so successful, and then we'll kind of move on into how you got here to the Phenix City area.
Panama City. I ran a place called Canopies, which was a very popular restaurant for a number of years. It's now called Firefly.
Okay.
So they just moved everything from Panama City to the beach and changed the name. Took the same staff, took everything, which nobody's there anymore, but I helped open Firefly as well. But I worked at Canopies for about 10 years. I ran 30 Degree Blue at one point for about 3 years, and that was the only restaurant in Panama City that won the Dorona Award.
The what award?
Dorona, Distinguished Restaurants in North America.
Oh, wow, okay.
So nobody around here can say that. Nobody down there can say that anymore. So I'm pretty good at what I do. Yeah.
Well, with that being said, now let's talk about how you wound up here. I know you said that a weather event had something to do with
we lived here
blown
before.
to Phenix City.
Yeah, we lived here before. I came up here and took the chef's job at Country Club of Columbus in 2003. And then I moved to Meritage, which I was at Meritage for about 8 years. And then when she decided to go downtown, I went back to Panama City.
Okay.
And
I remember that restaurant.
Then we can say Hurricane Michael come through and told me I couldn't live there no more. Yeah,
you were the
bottom line.
Wow.
Yeah. So I come back up here because I have a house up here.
Okay.
After living in the driveway for 4 months, and it was something else.
Yeah.
I grew up in Panama City. I've never seen anything like it. Yeah.
Well, I know it blew Tyndall away, and you know.
I lived right by Tyndall.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that was tragic, but you know, if it hadn't been for that, I wouldn't have been enjoying your shrimp and grits a few minutes ago. So, all right. So now you're here at Criola's. So when did you decide to open this restaurant? I mean, you know, if you kind of get us inside the events, you moved back and you had been here before, and now you're back. You know, there's got to be a story behind it.
I was fighting with the insurance company over getting paid, and I fought with them for about 1.5 years, and I stumbled on this. I was paying my water bill and the guys that owned it were putting a for sale sign up as I was leaving, so I stopped and asked them what they wanted for it, what was going on with it, and I told them as soon as I got my money from the insurance, I'll buy it.
So this premises was a restaurant.
It was.
Prior to you opened it as Criolla's. Okay. Like I said, timing is everything, man.
There wasn't a restaurant for years now. It was closed down. The boys that I bought it from were doing barbecue competitions.
Gotcha. Okay.
And they were just in and out using it as whatever. And but they gave me a decent price, and I gave them the money, and we're here.
Well, we're glad you are. Now, what I want to do, David, is just, if y'all wouldn't mind, I want to read just a little bit of the reviews. Now, this is amazing. Now, if you're not from Columbus, Phenix City area, you might not know where Sandfort Road is, but this is one of these hidden jewels, I would say, as far as finding this restaurant. But of 62 reviews, I want to hit a few of them real quick. Outstanding food. The restaurant itself is a quaint little place. The owner was a sous chef. You're going to tell me what a sous chef is in a little bit. Another, food was amazing. My steak was cooked perfectly. Presentation was great. Staff was very friendly and accommodating. We are regulars. The food is always a 10. The service is always the best, and the food is fabulous. And there is nowhere on earth I'd rather eat. The staff is friendly and the food is great. And the food was excellent. The service very good. We'll be back. And the last one I'll read here is the filet. The filet with crab cake was cooked perfectly, and the crab cakes were the best any of us ever had. The pan-fried grouper was even better than the filet. So, man, people love your food.
Well, it's taken hold. It's, you know, before COVID, first year, I couldn't beat them off with a stick. I mean, Friday and Saturday night, I had to come out here and lock the door, tell people to leave, because we
Had to call the police.
Well, we're going to run out of food. You know, I could tell you when I still had 30 people to feed, and I was going to run out of food, just lock the door. You know, and it was like that for the first year, and then COVID come and just knocked a hole in it. I mean, everybody knows what happened there, and restaurant business was the worst hit.
Yes.
And you know, so we went through a Cat 5 hurricane and then walked into COVID. So you could say I got no luck. Exactly. But we crawled our way through it, and we're still here. It's starting. It's getting on the uptick. It's not. I don't see a downfall to it. All I see is growing.
Continuing to grow. Well, I want to ask you some questions about your survival strategies, but I got to put in a plug for our sponsor, the Private Money Syndicate. You know, we're the people that help you to power your dreams with private money. So you can reach out to us at www.privatemoneysyndicate.com or give us a call at 706-888-3719. Now, David, you know, most people have a hard time even starting a restaurant that stays alive on its own. Now, you've gotten blown away, you've gotten, you know, COVID came through. So if you would share for the folks who are in the industry or want to go into the industry, what are some of the smart things that you've learned through those experiences or things prior to that helped you to survive and come back strong like you're doing right now?
You got to watch your food cost. That'll kill you right off the bat. We've managed to run a pretty consistent food cost there. Now I'm a little higher than most people because I own the place.
Right.
I don't have all the overhead that another restaurant would have. I don't pay a chef like another restaurant would because I'm the chef. I'm the dishwasher sometimes, so I don't really have a lot of overhead.
Understand.
The thing that really would hurt me would be the bills during the summer and my food cost. A normal restaurant, which I have ran many of, it's, you know, Panama City was notorious for being very busy. So you had to have a lot of wait staff, you had to have a lot of cooks, you had a pretty significant payroll. And I kept my payroll around 18%.
Okay.
And not many people can do that, but if you can, that's a major kicker in it.
Okay. Yeah. Looking at labor costs. Now, you're in the seafood cuisine, and I love seafood, and so, but I know seafood is expensive to source and is perishable. and obviously, like I said, demand has got to consume it before it goes bad. So, being that you're not on the coast here in Phenix City, what's the magic for having such delicious? I mean, those shrimp, like you just peeled. Well, just caught them and peeled them. I tell you, it was awesome.
You got to have a good purveyor.
Okay.
And I've used inland seafood even when I was in Panama City. I probably used them for 25 years.
Wow.
And they're my guy that I've had for 25 years is I get with him on Monday and we sit down and we figure out what's come in, what's a decent price, is there a profit margin on it? Sometimes there is, sometimes there not. If lobster has a profit margin on it one week, I'll run lobster on top of the fillet or something like that. And if it did not, I change the menu every week.
Oh, cool.
A lot of people won't do that because it's really pain in the butt.
Yeah, but you use it as a tool to maintain your margin.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I guess that's and from the time you are with your what do you call it? Purveyor. Purveyor on Monday. Then when does that shipment come in?
Tuesday.
Next
My
day.
seafood comes in on Tuesday and Friday.
Okay.
So generally, you're going to keep fresh fish around here. Most of my seafood comes in fresh. Every once in a while, you'll get something frozen because you couldn't get it fresh. But I let people know when that happens. I tell them where it's from. Like last week, we had. Oh God, what did we have? Prince William Sound flounder. We had Key West snapper.
Wow.
That's just an example. It changes every week, so
Right.
I couldn't remember everything that we do. But it runs on that. So once I know Monday what I ordered, Tuesday morning I sit down, write a menu, and then I post it all on Facebook and all that mess Tuesday.
Okay.
And then Jade comes in and she writes the menu on the board.
She's got beautiful handwriting.
She does. She does. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, you're going to be able to read mine.
You wouldn't be able to read mine? Yeah. Believe me, when she hadn't been here and I put the menu up there, it ain't pretty.
Wow.
They can barely read it.
Yeah. Now your restaurant's a small, quaint place. Now, from the standpoint of atmosphere, how important is that, and how have you used that to go along with the excellent food preparation that is creating this signature restaurant?
We just have slowly. I don't even know that we tried to do anything.
Really?
When we first opened, we were just a seafood joint. But my background's fine dining. So as we pegged along, I started throwing in some dishes, and I seen that they were taking to it, and which I knew they would. Columbus I ran for years and years at Meritage. I was at Meritage for like 8 years, and we were actually like the first fine dining restaurant in Columbus.
I remember I ate there quite regularly.
Yeah,
I probably saw you there.
We were probably the first fine dining restaurant in Columbus, and then when Jamie came, he didn't have Epic right off the bat, but he was next. So it was us, and then it was him. So, and people in Columbus, they respect their fine dining. I'll give them that. Phenix City, I didn't know, but they do.
Hey,
yeah.
I mean, for those who don't live in this area, Phenix City and Columbus are like one town with a river, dividing it. So I mean, there's really.
But back in my day, Columbus didn't go across the river.
Is that right?
Phenix City didn't go across the river. We're starting to get that meld a little bit. So
well, certainly, I'll tell all the folks in Columbus, y'all got to come here.
That's
to
right.
Criollas, man. This is absolutely awesome. Okay, so now let's talk about your art. Okay. I mean, when the plate came out, I know that we got some film of some of the other dishes that come out. Not only do they taste great, man, but they look delicious. I've heard people say you eat with your eyes first. So where does that fit into how you put it all together?
It's just been doing it for years, you know, and what strikes my eye, it's
So if there's some principles, or if you're going to teach me just a little lesson, what are some things I would want to execute on plating a dish?
I could tell you some mess that they taught me in culinary school that you wouldn't have a clue what I'm talking about, so there's no reason to even do it. You know, you go with odd numbers, and I don't do that anymore. So I'm not even going to mess with that mess. I decorate the plate the way I think it looks good.
Okay.
So if me and you were in the kitchen and we were starting to do something, you just have to stand there behind me and watch me.
Just pay attention.
Pay attention, and that's what all my sous chefs have done. You just get behind me, watch me, and if you can't do it in a week, you're fired.
Oh, wow. Yep. I said, I know the restaurant. Who's that guy? Gordon Ramsay. You know, was always hollering at people and everything. Yeah, I mean, I understand it's kind of like that. You know, especially in a busy restaurant.
It is. It depends on where you're at. You know, when I worked for Emerald, if it wasn't done exactly the way he wanted, he'd drop the plate down, and watch it bust on the floor, make you do it again.
Yeah.
Never did it to me.
Cool.
Thought he might get beat up. But
now, sous chef. What is a sous chef? I mean, I've heard that term, and I think I know what it is, but
second chef.
Oh, second chef. Okay, that kind of assistant chef. Oh, okay. Now I know. All right, very, very good stuff. All right, now from the standpoint of the restaurant business being a tough business from a business principles point of view, if someone were wanting to go into the start a restaurant, you know, think of 3 or 4 things that, you know, they really need to make sure that they have structured in order to have a chance of surviving in that industry.
I could tell you some things, but this restaurant don't have any of them.
Okay. Well.
So location.
Okay, location.
We don't have it. We do have it, but we don't. People don't realize we're 3 miles from 431 and 3 miles from 80.
Right.
We're in the middle. Location's a big deal. Knowing what you're looking for, knowing what your concept is.
Okay.
That we have. Numbers. You got to know your numbers.
You mentioned some of those things: food costs, labor costs, things like that.
Your numbers are going to be what makes you or breaks you. And then the concept. I mean, that's the bottom line right there. If you don't know what you're doing and what kind of people you're trying to pull in,
right,
it's not going to happen.
Well, on that point of the market, you know, pulling in. I mean, like I said, you just said that prior to COVID, people were, you know, 30 deep waiting to get in here and things like that. I mean, that's awesome. But now, from the standpoint of looking at the market and seeing like the demographics, is the economics. I mean, from the standpoint of, is there some reference that people would go to, or what would I want to, where would I get that information if I was trying to decide if I moved to Phenix City, Columbus, and I got to find out what's the economics, you know, what the age, Chamber of Commerce. Okay.
Yeah, the Chamber can help you with all that. We are a member. I got behind on my dues, so I'm not a member at the moment, but I am going back. So,
yeah, okay.
But the Chamber's good with all that stuff. They can actually help you find a spot.
Cool.
Yeah, they tried to help me. They were trying to get me to go downtown.
Right.
And I'd already bought this. I was like, I'm not going downtown. Why would I do it? I own this. So we ended up out here, and we're doing okay.
Well, certainly are. All right. Well, one thing that I like to ask you to do is, you know, if people let us know, or they come into a restaurant and say, hey, I saw your restaurant, I saw Criolla's on the Mind Your Business show. You know, is there anything that you would, you know, have as an incentive for folks to come down here and check you out?
Yeah, we get 15% off.
15% off. Wow, that's mighty generous, man. All right, 15% off. You got to come to Criola's. And like I said, what I just had, I would certainly recommend the shrimp and grits, but there's a whole board up here of awesome things.
And it changes weekly.
And it changes weekly, so you might want to come back every single week.
Or keep an eye on Facebook. We post everything on Facebook. We're doing an event, we post it on Facebook. The menu changes and goes on Facebook every Tuesday generally, unless I get lazy.
Right.
We're working on outside. We got the deck done. I got the courtyard in.
Super.
We're going to put a stage in when I can afford wood. And So sooner or later, outside on Friday and Saturday night,
gonna be a happening
might
place.
have a little jump into it.
A happening place, man. Well, I tell you what, even prior to that, just being able to be in here and I mean, like, hey, the linen tablecloth and knowing that a chef with your experience and acclaim and all that is preparing the food and it just comes out looking beautiful, tastes great. Folks got to come check you out, David. You're awesome.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, and thanks for letting us spend a little time with you today. And so for you guys, he's made an offer that you can't refuse. And with that, we say that here at the Private Money Syndicate, where we sponsor the Mind Your Business show, we want to power your dreams so that you can have a story to tell, like the success story of David, where he has the success formula for restaurants. So if you want to get in contact with us, go to www.privatemoneysyndicate.com and reach us at 706-888-3719. As we always say, if you're going to go in business and stay in business, you've got to mind your business. Thanks for tuning in.